The procedurally generated world of Noita is composed of a large variety of biomes. 22 different modifiers may be applied at random to any of these along the main path of progression through the game, while some side biomes have their own specific fixed modifiers, such as the heat of the desert surface, freezing of the snowy wasteland, or gloomy darkness of the magical temple. Some of these biome modifiers are incredibly rare and can either greatly help or greatly hinder your chances of survival. From the top, the first of these random modifiers is the humid modifier, which hinders combat as it causes projectiles to fly slower. Some, such as slime balls, become fairly stationary. It's also harder to set fires or to be set on fire because of the moisture in the air. This also happens to be the default modifier of the fungal caverns, though they can generate with a random modifier taking its place. Next, we have the darkness modifier, which causes the fog of war to close in again behind you as you move through the area, making it much more difficult to tell where you have or haven't been. This modifier always appears in the Luki layer biome. The next modifier is high gravity, making it slightly more difficult to levitate and causing gravity to have a slightly stronger pull on projectiles. After this, we have low gravity, allowing the player to levitate higher with each bar of energy, as well as allowing some projectiles to fly slightly straighter. Now for one of the more rare modifiers. The air smells ionized. Oh boy. Not only does the conductive modifier cause plasma beam emitting machines to spawn everywhere, making it often pretty difficult to progress, especially early on, but the entire biome is now electrically conductive, and electricity emitting traps and skull enemies will spawn. So have fun. Seed number 46 has a conductive mines if you want to check that out for yourself. Next, one of my favorites, the hot modifier, which is pretty cool when you get it in the snowy depths or Hisi base, especially if you shift water to lava. I'm a masochist, I know. This causes any open bodies of water to slowly evaporate, and of course, ice and snow to quickly melt. There will also be barrels of water scattered around the environment. Next, we have another rare one. The lucrative modifier causes an increased number of gold veins to spawn in the biome, allowing you to potentially gain a significant amount of money if you take the time to mine it out. This modifier can appear in any of the main loop biomes except for the Hisi base. Seed 1091 has a lucrative mines biome for you to play around with. An exceptionally rare modifier is the extremely lucrative modifier, which obviously causes an insane amount of gold to spawn if this modifier is present in the mines, collapsed mines, or coal pits biomes. If you get this modifier in the snowy depths, a much smaller amount of gold will spawn, but it's still pretty significant. These are the only 4 biomes that can get this modifier. A seed with an extremely lucrative mines is seed number 28214. Next is the much maligned plant-infested modifier, which causes procedurally growing poison berry sprouting vines to spread within the biome. You'll also find the second dark variant of swamp liquid, normally found only in the jungle. This modifier cannot appear in the snowy depths, Hisi base, or underground jungle, since the jungle already has this behavior. A much friendlier modifier is cozy, which simply causes various furniture to spawn, as well as a slightly increased chance to find mimics. The furniture seems to be purely decorative, and some of it might actually be props created for previous unreleased iterations of the game that would otherwise go unused. Less friendly is the booby-trapped modifier, which causes glowing explosive mines to spawn throughout the biome. Then there's the perforated modifier, which causes a large amount of open space and worm tunnels to squirm through the biome, usually allowing you to reach the bottom much easier. There's also a chance for small and medium, and a rare chance for giant worms to spawn. This modifier cannot appear in the snowy depths, the vault, frozen vault, or temple of the art biomes. The hair in the back of your neck stands up. The spooky modifier allows some enemies to spawn with tiny ghosts that attack you with spark bolts. Cute, but annoying. You'll also find an assortment of gravestones to and fro decorating the environment. Next, we have an invisible force pushing and pulling you. The gravity fields modifier. You'll find both white gravity circles and red anti-gravity circles on your explorations. These can have a significant impact on combat, so plan accordingly to use them to your advantage. The 15th random modifier fills the air with fungal spores, which gives the environment a greenish hue, spawns the occasional highly explosive blue fungus pod, and fills the biome with equally explosive fungoid enemies, as well as swarms of highly erratic blobs. Oh, happiness. This modifier can't appear in the snowy depths, Hisi base, or fungal caverns. The flooded modifier introduces an abundance of leaky pipes and pools of water, as well as a higher spawn rate of lantern-wielding, curse-firing swamplings. You won't see this one in the jungle, snowy depths, or temple. Appearing in the mines, collapsed mines, or jungle, the gas-flooded modifier fills the afflicted biome with flammable gas escaping from pipes that leak acid if damaged. If you encounter this in the mines, make sure you have some water with you, since fires will spread pretty quickly. There will also be a larger amount of acid-spitting enemies to run from. This place feels exceptionally secure, because there's a chance for enemies to have shields, as well as static shield generator modules to appear here and there. Enemies might be slightly more difficult to kill, or you could use the shield generators to your advantage. This modifier cannot appear in the coal pits or snowy depths. Now, for another quite rare one, you suddenly have trouble focusing your eyes, because this is the invisibility modifier. And some enemies you encounter will be almost invisible. The only biome that can't get this is the mines, and it actually can be quite deadly to get it later in a run when you're dealing with tougher enemies, such as in the vault. Now, for the final non-unlockable biome modifier. You hear creepy crawling everywhere. This is the wormy modifier, which also causes worms to spawn. However, there won't be pre-generated tunnels like with the roomy modifier. There might be a lot more explosions and infighting off-screen, but chances are that the worms will be at the bottom of the biome by the time you get there. This, however, does increase the chances of the gods being angered from worms eating through the holy mountains, especially if you get this modifier in an early biome, like the coal pits, since if you let them, the worms will totally chew through every biome thereafter. This modifier can't appear in the mines. The final two modifiers are unlocked by, spoilers, creating a sun and creating a dark sun. So if you never achieve this through the Sunseed quest, then you'll never see these modifiers in your runs. This first one can actually be extremely useful since it fills the affected biome with glowing protection fields. Inside these fields, nothing can be hurt by any means, giving you a reprieve in even the most deadly circumstances. Obviously, you also can't damage any enemies inside these fields, but it's fairly easy to lure them out to kill them if need be. This final modifier, however, can be much more deadly. There is an ominous atmosphere here. If you see this message, then proceed with caution, since the biome will contain a large number of unstable orbs that expand into giga black holes if you get too close. This is usually a bad thing, but if you're careful, then you can use these as weapons or as a means of digging. Anyway guys, those are all the random biome modifiers in Noita. In my opinion, and I think you'll agree with me here, the best modifier to find would definitely be the extremely lucrative modifier. And the worst? Probably the ionized modifier, since it pretty commonly occurs in the mines of all the biomes it can occur in, and it's extremely deadly that early in a run. What do you think? What's your least favorite of all of these? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and happy noiting.